Hey lovely viewers, and welcome to Get Well Stay Well on Revelation TV. You're joined by me, Si, and of course delighted to be joined by a lovely Felicity. How are you doing?
Hi there, Si. I'm absolutely fine, and I think this is such an interesting program that I've got for us today, which is do we sacrifice our health for money?
Wow.
And I think most of the world does actually, and it's high time that we started respecting our bodies and realizing how expensive it is actually to be ill or to have an accident. It's very expensive in loss of earnings and getting yourself well again.
Yeah.
So I thought today would be a really good program for our lovely viewers.
It's a balance really, isn't it? Because on one side of the coin, you're trying to work to obviously put food on the table, to have a shelter for your family and provide. But on the other side, we can easily get taken over by our work and sacrifice and affect and jeopardize our health.
You can pay all the money back, can't you? All the money that you've earned in trying to restore your health and regenerate your life again. So yeah, I think it's really important to get the exercise, you know, to eat right and to lots and lots of water. The basic things that don't cost anything really. And
because we're not being drastic, and we're not saying go and give up your work, give up your jobs. Obviously we all have to work, but it's like you're saying, it is the basic things. It's drinking a little bit more water, being more aware, making an effort to do the exercise, isn't it? As
well as if you can choose a job that you really love. You know, I adore making these programs, so although I work long hours doing it, it's fun. I'm absolutely loving it. So I think if people can find a job that they really enjoy, then, you know, life becomes fun again. It becomes fun. And you know, when people ring me and say that they're depressed or they're feeling life isn't worth living, and I think if only they had a passion, if they had something that they absolutely love to do. But
it's a gamble though, isn't it, Felicity? Because we have to work, and sometimes people don't always necessarily do the job that they enjoy, but they have no other choice. But then they have that decision to make. Do they sacrifice and stop doing that job in order to go and search for their dream job? But then what do they do in the meantime? How does the money come in? How does it pay the bills? You've got to pay your rent, you've got to pay your mortgage, you've got to go to the supermarket and buy food. What do you do in those circumstances?
Well, I think we have to really commit too early, don't we? You know, at 17, 18 at school, you're then put into an education program, a further education program that's really going to indicate the way that you're going to live the rest of your life. So it's quite interesting. I mean, you did a degree in media, for instance.
Yeah.
You could have gone into any kind of media, but you got into Christian media. I think God had something to do with that side.
Yeah, true. I have to say, it's all God. I am where I am today because God's guided my path. Because it's interesting, I look back for the last 15 years of my life, and I finished university about 15 years ago, and I look back, and honestly, I could not have planned the path that He has taken me. And that's why when I look at my future, I don't get stressed, I don't get anxious about it. My hands are in the air, and I just simply say, God, I'm in your hands. You have to just guide me. It's simple as that. And it's having that attitude, but I'm very blessed to be doing something that I have a passion for and that I love and I enjoy. Whereas I do feel for people that you speak to who are in a job that they simply don't enjoy doing. They have to wake up every morning and go and do something they don't enjoy doing. But it's like we were saying, how do you deal with something like that?
Well, sometimes we can move a little way sideways, maybe into something that is more what we want to do. It's, you know, if you pray about it, God will give people the answers.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. And, you know, I see my background in nursing, working in the Houses of Parliament, which gave me an entree into how politics works and how big pharma and big war and big oil, you know, control the world. And so God prepared me for doing this in an amazing way. And yes, it's a real blessing. So I think people need to pray much more. If they're not in a job that they think is right for them, give it to God and let God decide the step that you're going to go. You know, maybe a little step sideways will absolutely get you along the right path that you're going to enjoy again.
I think people jeopardize their lives in the way they balance off, do I enjoy it, or the amount of money I'm earning? And sometimes they might not necessarily be enjoying the job they're doing, but because they're earning so much money, although it's affecting their health, they'll carry on with that job.
It's satisfaction at the end of the day, isn't it? It's job satisfaction. when I get a letter from people saying, you know, you've no idea how wheatgrass or the apricot kernels or anything that I've been teaching about, you know, you've no idea how that's helped. I no more have diabetes. I can see properly again now. You know, I'm not so stressed. I don't, you know, the cancer hasn't come back again because I've cleaned up my lifestyle. So that for me is worth, I mean, I don't earn anything by being on Revelation TV.
Yeah.
Nobody pays me. So
Yeah.
it's just lots and lots of wonderful production and productive work to get the programs out there, and that is my reward. Fantastic.
And it is, you're absolutely right, Felicity, it's a satisfaction, because us on Revelation TV, we sit here on the sofa and we talk, but it's when you speak to the viewers and you speak to how Revelation TV is impacting their lives, whether it's a spiritual support that we're providing, educating them in health or any other topics. We're affecting lives at the end of the day. I guess there's no better satisfaction than that, is there?
That's right, and it's so exciting to see the International Centre really shaping up now.
Yeah.
And you know, I've watched the diggers from day one, and of course my home is further up the mountain, so I'm passing there every day. And to see all this happening is so exciting, and I know that the viewers are going to really love to see us move in, and there's going to be a big party, I think, and it's going to be wonderful to have the office and the studio all in one place. Make life much easier.
Now, you mentioned parties there, Felicity. We're talking about health on today's programme, obviously, as always. How do you stay healthy when you go to a party?
Well, you have to have a bit of discipline, Si.
Yeah.
Because when you arrive at the party, you know, it's so easy to be handed a glass of maybe alcohol, and you know that that is not going to make you feel very good the next morning. It's going to have a bad effect on the body, maybe lead you into all kinds of trouble. So the thing is, you have to use a little discipline.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I drink a lot of water before I go to a party. I also never go hungry. So I've had, even it might be melon that I have before I go, but I'm not desperately hungry. So then, you know, and I always take a salad of some kind, so that I've got my own salad to eat if there's nothing there, if it's all, you know, food that I can't eat. But
you just borrow a fork and you're good to go.
Exactly, yes, and everyone wants to eat my salad as well because they wonder what I've put in there.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think the thing is to, you know, keep the faith, and if you just don't want to wreck your health by going and doing things that are really going to destroy it. So it's not worth it just to be at a party. So, for instance, I don't want to eat meat or chicken or fish, basically. I'd rather just have the vegetables.
Yeah.
So how nice, you're saving people money. And so say at the time, you know, I'd rather just have the vegetables.
Yeah.
And there's always salads, there's always a yummy sweet of some kind, and try to choose one that's fruity and doesn't have too much sugar in it. So, yeah, I love parties because I love getting together with people, and love talking about health and talking about life down here in Spain. So, yeah, I'm a great girl for going to get out and be with people.
Yeah.
And but I don't want to compromise my healthy lifestyle.
But excellent, you can still stay social, still have friends, go out, enjoy yourself, but stay healthy. We've got a very interesting video we'd love to share with you now. It's called The Urgent Message from Your Body. Let's have a look at this.
Imagine that you own $1 million racehorse, a horse worth $1 million. Would you let that horse stay up all night, work all day, drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, and eat junk food? No? Okay, would you treat a $20 dog like that? How about a $2 cat? No? Well, why do you treat me like that? Oh, hi. It's your body here. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm the home that you've always lived in. Surely you remember, we grew up together. And I'm writing this letter because I feel neglected in this relationship. Very disappointed in what I've been seeing. With your ambition to make money, you sacrifice my well-being, which makes no sense in the least. Because when I get sick, you sacrifice that same money to recuperate me. And what's even more ironic is with all your interest in profit, you can't even see the truth. That I'm worth over $1 billion. Don't believe me? Okay, I'll prove it. If someone came to you with a check for $1 million, right, and said, here, All I want in return is your eyesight. You will never be able to see another sunset for the rest of your natural life. Would you take that deal? Okay, let's up the bid. Suppose he had a check for $10 million instead. And if you accepted, you would no longer have use of your arms or legs. Would you take that deal? I can answer that for you. No. See, those are silly options because you know that as your body, I am worth over $1 billion. And don't get me started with the heart. I mean, if I was a company, right? This heart wouldn't get employee of the month. It would get employee of the life. Because throughout your entire existence as a person, your heart never stops working. Even when you're sleeping, it doesn't stop beating. That's every second, every minute, every day. And come to think of it, I can't recall you ever saying thanks. Anyway, I don't want this to come off as rude. Just asking for a little attention here, dude. I know you try to make me look perfect when you're Instagramming, but we both know you've been taking me for granted. Consider this an opportunity. After this video ends, don't click to the next one like you do usually. Take some time by yourself, just you and me. Place your hand on your chest and say thank you to your heartbeat, to your eyes, legs, arms, to your hands that you use for climbing, to your lungs that bring you breath without you even trying. I do it all for you, because you come first, because you're my homie. We go way back, don't we? Like birth? I just think it's time you start treating me what I'm worth.
Such a powerful video there. It really does put life into perspective, and we really do take our health for granted, don't we?
You know, when I saw that, I thought, I've really got to do that video. I think it's absolutely great. It's profound, and it does make you stop and think.
Yeah.
And I went down by the sea, you know, and I had a lovely half hour of just looking at the sea and thinking how lucky I am, how blessed I am that at 76 my body is still working as well as it is, and you know, how to help other people achieve that as well. So I think it's wonderful to take a moment and thank your body for the work it does. The heart, you know, heroically it beats all through.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, absolutely.
Asleep and awake, our heart is beating, our lungs are breathing, our whole body is working. And so we really have to thank God for this amazing, miraculous body. And you know, Dr. Richard Kent makes some wonderful clips on how the body works and the miracle of the eyesight, the miracle of the way we hear and the ear works.
Yes.
And we do take it for granted, and what a joy it is to actually have that attitude of gratitude to God that things do work so well.
Because we really can get carried away with our life, our day-to-day routines, and take things for granted. Simple as that, really, isn't it? And we don't realise that we need to be looking after things because it's only going to affect us. You're still so fit. You say you're 76 years old, but you're still so fit. And that's why it's so important to stay healthy during our younger years and as you're progressing, because that helps us on later on in the time, doesn't it?
I think so, and I was lucky because my dad was an Olympic athlete, so he was very much into fitness. And so we led quite a healthy life and lots of sport. And I think it's absolutely great if you have the family into a sport like that. You have everyone running, or they're playing tennis, they're playing golf, whatever they're playing, football maybe, but something that the wives can join in, like you have ladies football, obviously. But walking, you know, even if you just have a family walk, say a Sunday afternoon, and we used to do that with the dogs. We used to go for a really long walk on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then the children get used to that, and they want to have exercise later because, as the Bible says, you bring them up and that's the way that they will go.
Yeah, it's true, because if you introduce this from a young age, then that's their routine. As they become a teenager, as they become an adult, they become more independent, but that's the routine, that's what they're used to, is exercising. What do you think about the society that we're living in today? Are we conscious enough about our health?
Well, I think people are under such stress, Si, that they put their health second. I really do. I think they they go on working. I mean, I know I do that myself at night. I'm about to close down the computer, and then I suddenly see something. Oh, I think I can make a program out of that.
Oh dear.
And 2 hours later, I've made a program out of that. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking, no, you shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah.
And
you tell us the importance of sleep, Felicity.
I know. As my grandfather used to say, don't do as I do, do as I tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
He's absolutely
exactly,
right.
Yeah. But it is finding that balance as well of obviously having the working life, with your being with your family. It's time. We seem to be limited with time, but it's like you can always say, you can always have an excuse. You can always have an excuse to say, yes, I didn't have that time to stay healthy, go out for exercise. And if you really wanted to, I'm sure you can do it. If that means you're waking up half an hour early than normal, or going to bed half an hour later than normal, because you need to include that healthy part of your day, get exercise in, everything is possible.
You know, when I was young, the subject I really enjoyed at school was biology, funnily enough. So that's exactly what I'm teaching now, healthy biology, how the body works. And I do think that we should be teaching more of that in our schools. And I think this little clip that we've just seen, that should be in every school, in every university as well, because it is inspirational and it really sets us thinking about our bodies and how to look after them for life.
What's interesting is when we watch videos like this, how times have changed in the last 10 years, 15 years. We now have the power of the internet. So that video that we've seen there, that video's gone viral. That's gone to millions of people. That is a 2-minute, 3-minute video that can literally change somebody's life, change their mind, change their whole perspective. And that's what was beautiful of the internet we have. There's a lot of negativity about the internet, but if we use the positives and how we can really reach and use that to get the message out, talking about health, when you see a video like that, that transforms everything, it transforms the way you're thinking as well. How important is it that we get into the right mindset of staying healthy?
Well, it's brain food, isn't it? That kind of content is brain food, and we can learn how to get healthy now on the internet. You know, in the old days when I was studying years ago, 17, 18, you know, you had to go to libraries, you had to have textbooks, and it was all very difficult to get the information, but now the information is there. And I'd like to choose the best that I can, you know, something new, something exciting that I can bring in to get well, stay well, because I know this is going out to millions of people.
Exactly, wonderful. Now we talk about health, staying healthy, we talk about healthy recipes as well. Delicious recipes. Now you love your soups, don't you, Felicity?
I do indeed, and I love carrots because my late husband was an RAF pilot, and of course we all know that carrots were given to the pilots because it helps you to see better. And it's absolutely true. You know, there's so many wonderful vitamins and minerals in carrots. You've got all the wonderful vitamins there. You've got manganese, you've got magnesium, you've got wonderful things, and how easy it is to get a carrot out of the ground. I was really interested that they have white carrots, red carrots, purple carrots, and black carrots. Did you know about that?
I had no idea.
Well, they certainly do, because I just looked it up and researched
Excellent, because you're talking about carrots and you talk about our eyesight as well. How important is that we look after our eyesight, especially we're talking about the internet, but we look at our smartphones, we're looking at our laptops, we're looking at our computers, we're constantly looking at screens. When we have some downtime, we say, I'm going to relax now, I'm going to watch TV.
I know.
You're constantly looking at a screen.
It's that blue light, isn't it? It's the blue flickering light that is so damaging for our eyes. And sometimes when you do close your eyes at night, you can see a little patch in the middle of sort of dark, and you think, oh my goodness, I really have been burning my eyes on those screens. So it is vital to take the vitamins and the minerals. And you know, I'm 76, I don't need glasses much. I mean, I have readers, because against the lights here that are coming at us, it's difficult to read. And I think it's so important to look after the eyesight. And so fruit and vegetables are the way to go. Even macular degeneration is meant to be just a lack of the fruits and vegetables in our lifestyle.
Excellent. Well, let's have a look at this delicious recipe. This is carrot and ginger soup.
Next up is our super simple carrot and ginger soup. Now, this soup really couldn't be easier. Obviously, it features some carrots and some ginger. It all starts in a large sauce pot. I've got some oil heating up, and to that, I'm going to add 2 small onions. To that, I'm gonna add some freshly grated ginger. Now we're looking for about 1 teaspoon, but hey, no one's really measuring. Just put in as much ginger as you think you'll need. I'm only adding this now just to heat it up a little bit to get that flavor amped up even more. Then I've just chopped up about 8 carrots. I'm using organic carrots, so I don't bother peeling them. If you're using conventional carrots, you probably wanna peel them first. I just clean mine off with a vegetable brush to dislodge any dirt left behind. Then I'm gonna toss in my carrots and top it with some vegetable stock. Once this comes to a boil, we're gonna season it with a good helping of salt and some pepper. I'm gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes until the carrots are totally soft and starting to fall apart. Once that happens, it's time to blend this up. I'm gonna turn this heat off and we're gonna let it sit for just a few minutes before we use our immersion blender to puree it. You want it all the way inside the pot because you don't want it splashing back. Then you'll start with just a few pulses and then just start working your way around your soup. When it's done, it will be creamy and filling. Perfect when topped with just a little bit of fresh yogurt and some fresh ground pepper.
Absolutely delicious there, Felicity. And
It's good, isn't it?
And it's great to see some healthy recipes there, and they're delicious as well, tasty.
It's wonderful because the ginger gingers us up, as you know. So that's an anti-inflammatory as well. So you've got the wonderful carrots, you've got the gorgeous ginger, and then you're putting a little bit of pepper on the top as well. And you know, everything in that is healthy. It's all good for us, every single thing. So,
and it's a good way of introducing our children into staying healthy and preparing this kind of food with us as well, because it's so much fun when we try and keeping our children healthy, and you often show photos of your grandchildren doing the juicing, introducing that. And we were talking earlier on about the parents, the importance of the parents introducing exercise into their lives from a young age, because when they become an adult, then they're getting used to that routine. If we're introducing and we're cooking with them as well, it's just that whole package, that whole healthy lifestyle, isn't it?
and you've got to be very careful with young children with something boiling on the stove, as you know. So one of the things you can do to make a juice or a soup is actually to put it in the Vitamix, and that will warm it up. The Vitamix is an amazing strong blender, and I got mine in America years ago when I was training. And you can actually warm a soup up in the Vitamix, which is good. So the children are not standing over a hot pan. I would never let the children anywhere near.
Explain about the Vitamix. How exactly does that work?
Well, the Vitamix is just a really strong blender, and it has a very heavy glass bowl that the ingredients are actually put into. So you've got a very strong engine as well. And it is the daddy of them all, you know, it's really, really good. So I'm very lucky I have got one, and brought it back from America with me, wouldn't be without it. So it doesn't get broken. Also, if you're doing an ice soup or an ice juice, you can put the cubes of ice in there. If you do that in an ordinary little plastic juicer, of course, the ice cubes would actually probably break the blender.
Yeah.
So it's a good, strong workhorse, as they say. And I absolutely love my Vitamix. So, as I'm saying with the children, never let them near a pan of really hot liquid. And I do find that the immersion blender, you know, it's called a stick blender, and you just stick it in, and obviously it whizzes everything up in the saucepan. So you don't have to keep putting things in a blender. So it's actually a bit safer. And so I'm really thrilled to have a stick blender as well.
And how easy is it for us to stay healthy when we're traveling? If you're going from one country to another, you may be in and out of hotels, and you want to stay healthy, but how can you do that if you've only got the hotel food available for you? What about a little NutriBullet, for example? Would that help?
That's a very good idea, yes, and I do that. I do take a NutriBullet if I'm taking a suitcase with me. Usually I just have a flight bag, but if I've got the suitcase with me, certainly the NutriBullet goes in there, and my electric heating pad as well, to make me really comfy wherever I am. And yes, I think lots of nuts and seeds which you can take and use those. So, and of course the soups in a hotel. You know, my father always used to say to me, you can tell a good restaurant by the quality of their soup.
Yes.
So if they're making good soups, then it's absolutely great. Very often that's all I have.
I think that's why we're so blessed in Spain as well, because you get a lot of homemade food, homemade soups, isn't it? They're absolutely delicious as well, aren't they?
Get me started on the gazpacho. Wonderful. And it's full of good nutrients again, Si, you know. Wonderful with all the good things, the courgettes and the aubergines. I love ratatouille as well, which is a lovely sort of stew, you know, vegetable stew with the ratatouille. So you've got aubergines and tomatoes and cucumbers.
Tell me, Felicity, how is our mental state, how are we mentally affected by the way that we're eating? If we're eating the right foods, does that help us psychologically?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because the brain needs food. And so if we're feeding it junk, we'll have a junk brain. You know, it's like if we're feeding our brain poison and pornography and occult things that we're reading, then our brain is going to be very rotten and diseased. And if we put good stuff in, we're reading the Bible, we're reading good brain food, then of course our brains are going to be better as well. It's a body, mind and spirit thing. It all works together.
And what about snacks in between meals? If you're a little bit peckish, you don't want to get tempted by indulging into anything naughty, what would you suggest as a snack?
Well, I'll make a green juice, but of course if you're out, then seeds and nuts are the best thing to have. So I always have those around in my handbag so that I just nibble those. Avocados, I mean, whenever you can get an avocado, that's the perfect food. David Wolfe is called David Avocado Wolfe because he lives on avocados, but they've got everything in. And it's a creamy, lovely creamy texture if you have an avocado. So, and how easy to peel a banana. You know, they talk about fast food, and all you have to do is unzip a banana and away you go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much indeed for all the information you've provided with us today. Do you have a website where viewers can get further information?
I do indeed. It's felicitycorbinwheeler.org and hippocratesineurope.com, so people can go on either.
Excellent. Felicity, thank you so much indeed for joining us. Thank you also to our lovely viewers as well. Do remember, if you found this programme interesting, then please do log on to our website where we have a catch-up service. Log on to www.revelationtv.com. We're also on YouTube, so check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/RTV Europe. And we're also on Facebook, so you can like, share and comment on any of the items that we have on Facebook. Log on to facebook.com/Revelation TV. Viewers, thank you so much indeed for joining us today. Felicity, once again, for all the research and all the information you provided us, thank you.
It's great to be with you, Si. Thank you.
All right, viewers, we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, God bless, and see you soon. Bye.